Acting President signs 2 bills that will enhance the ease of doing business initiative.
Salaries. Minimum wage is reviewed periodically.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it.
Help for the new minimum wage as House of Representatives makes progress on amendments to the Act. Plus, fake whistleblower in the dock. Welcome to NTA Network News. I am Muhammad Kuda Walker. The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act. The bill basically provides for a compulsory periodic review of the national minimum wage every 5 years. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
Members of the House of Representatives observed that the review process should be codified in the Constitution. To this end, the legislators are considering a bill to amend the National Minimum Wage Law to provide for review of workers' salaries every 5 years. House Leader Femi Bajabia-Mila is the sponsor.
As of today, there is no law that compels or mandates the government to review salaries.
Minimum wage is reviewed periodically.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it.
Members also passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization Act of 2004, which seeks to review membership of the board and improve its mandate, sponsored by Representative Lovett DC from Delta State.
The bill strives towards promoting the internal and interracial study as well as facilitate periodic return of African culture.
The commemoration of Nigeria's Democracy Day also featured on the floor as members expressed optimism that Nigeria's 18 years of uninterrupted democratic rule is on course. This came in a motion moved by Representative Emmanuel Oke-Jeff from Benue State.
Nigeria's unity is what we should all work towards.
Today, after 18 years, it's still unbroken. And so, I congratulate the Nigerians.
We must recognize the struggle, the sacrifice that was made by the heroes of Juntiop.
Our modern-day democracy will face challenges like fighting terrorism, adapting to globalization.
A motion on the need for security agencies to carry out a transparent investigation of incidences of illegal importation of firearms into Nigeria as moved by Representative Nkiru Kaonye-Jocha from Abia State, and the one by Representative Hassan Saleh on the need to provide tents for Nigerian soldiers in the various fields of operation were adopted.
And not just investigation, to make sure that the people who are found culpable are brought to book.
The House resolved to investigate the alleged rusting of 33 federal government-owned silos worth 280 billion naira, moved by Representative Solomon Anwiwe from Delta State. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Senate has passed an executive bill proposed to enlist international assistance in Nigeria's effort to tackle criminal matters. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayano reports that other areas covered by the bill include money laundering and asset acquired through proceeds from corruption.
The proposed law, Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters between Nigeria and other countries, SB 224/2017, was read for the third time and subsequently passed. The passage followed the presentation of the joint report of committees on judiciary, human rights and legal matters, foreign affairs and anti-corruption.
Six, that the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters in the Commonwealth Enactment and Enforcement Act 2004, that is operational in the Commonwealth countries, is limited in scope. Hence the need to enact this bill into law to provide a wider spectrum for the prosecution of cross-border crimes.
This is the paramount bill in the fight against corruption by the government. And by what we are doing today is also bringing confidence to foreign investors, knowing that in doing business in Nigeria, they'll be guided by laws that meet best practices.
Meanwhile, the Senate is to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate deals concerning maintenance of the Port Harcourt refinery. The decision followed a motion on non-transparent transaction in the Port Harcourt refinery maintenance.
The planned concession of the Port Harcourt refinery to Agip in partnership with Owando without recourse to due process is illegal and a clear attempt at ridiculing Nigerians and will definitely create a big hole that will be hard to fill in the anti-corruption crusade of the present administration.
Some senators who contributed to the motion suggested that all process and transactions on the deal should be put on hold until the proposed ad hoc committee completes its work.
In this respect, the BPP or BPE has not been consulted. So how did the process start?
They are about again to do to us what they did when electricity was fraudulently sold.
Another report considered and adopted is that of the Committee on Sports and Nigerian Football Federation Bill 2017. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
Nigeria and Russia have agreed at the United Nations to eliminate instability in Africa. This is one of the decisions at the bilateral meeting between Nigerian delegation led by Nigeria's Foreign Minister Geoffrey Onyema and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. Dele Atumbi has the report.
The meeting raised various issues that will be of mutual benefit to Nigeria and Russia in making life more meaningful to the citizens of the two countries. They equally agreed to speed up processes on political and economic relations, regional and global interests like tackling of insurgency around Lake Chad Basin, elimination of instability in the African continent, as well as evolving solutions to the challenges in the continent were also discussed. The meeting suggested inclusiveness in resolving the problems in Libya, Syria, and the Middle East.
We found it particularly instructive that on many very important issues, there was really a meeting of minds. As you know, the relationship between Russia and Nigeria goes back a very long way and has always been very, very good, very warm indeed. And Russia has really stood by Nigeria from the moment of independence.
Russia agreed to support all the steps of the federal government in tackling Boko Haram. Nigeria and Russia have continued to enjoy bilateral relations in the areas of military hardware, education, as well as oil and gas.
From Moscow, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Still in Moscow is Honorable Minister Geoffrey Onyema, who joins us via Skype. Honorable Minister, thank you for joining us on NTA Network News. Nigeria-Russia bilateral relations appear to be breaking new grounds, Honorable Minister. What are these new grounds? What can you tell us?
Well, we think in three areas, really. It's been a while since we've had a high-level visit to Russia by a Nigerian official. And so this was really paving the way for increased cooperation in a number of areas. As your report has shown, in the military security area, the Russians are going to be providing some hardware to us, as well as putting in place a mechanism for training Nigerian military personnel. On the economic front, again, as you just mentioned, there's some pipeline deals in the energy and petroleum sector. And also with regards to capacity building, the Russians are in the process of offering 110 scholarships to Nigerians to various schools in Russia, and also in the field of agriculture. So these are areas that we've identified and that they're very keen to engage with us in.
You've spoken on the specifics to Nigeria, but what other implications does this year's visit to Moscow have to the African continent and the global peace generally?
Well, specifically in the area of peacekeeping, as you know, there are a number of conflicts around the continent, and it's not clear whether the United Nations will maintain the level of funding that is required for peacekeepers around the continent. And we clearly need, as you might almost say, friends in high places, at least a country in the Security Council with the clout of Russia that agrees that the UN should continue to support the peacekeeping initiatives on the continent. And so we are hoping that as a result of this visit and follow-up engagement, that Russia in the UN will support the maintaining of the level of funding that is required to keep the UN peacekeeping missions in Africa going.
Mr. Geoffrey Anyama, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Back home, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has inaugurated an industrial policy and competitiveness council to further drive home the federal government's policies on revamping the economy. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has the report.
My pleasure and my privilege to inaugurate this National Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council.
It is definitely something to cheer as the council is inaugurated to be the link that has always been missing between the policy makers and those the policies would affect. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo says the council would be in the right position to advise government and assist it drive its policies on the ease of doing business in the country and further promote the made in Nigerian products.
What I've tried to do by creating this council is to be able to put policy to test and policy to examination so that there is a process by which the private sector is able to contribute to implementation of policy, but more importantly also to developing those policies, because we think that is absolutely important that we're all on the same page, especially where it comes to some of the very important policies that we think will drive the growth that we expect and will drive the industrialization efforts that we expect.
Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Oke Enelama, reads out the terms of reference of the council.
1, provide input to the formulation of sectoral and industrial policy and government interventions aimed at enhancing the performance of the Nigerian industrial sector. 2, provide feedback on government policies and programs that affect the industrial sector, make recommendations, propose initiatives, and bring perspectives that promote competitiveness and growth of the Nigerian industrial sector. Provide input to Nigeria's trade negotiations and agreements with a view to ensuring that the view of industry and industrialization targets are taken into cognizance.
Some members of the council described the move as a welcome development.
To serve and also reaffirm our unwavering commitment to play our part in jump-starting Nigeria's transition to the status of a new industrialized nation and fully diversified economy.
If you run the right environment and put the right policies in place, government should not need to intervene except in very rare cases.
We all have a stake. In another development, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo received a delegation of the FCMB who had donated a portal in support of the federal government's homegrown school feeding program.
We have all seen the success so far of the program, and we believe that this only helps to assist and aid that success we've seen so far.
As observed by most members of the council, it would be extremely difficult for government to clap with their hands and therefore needs the support of all. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has signed into law 2 bills passed by the National Assembly that will ultimately facilitate access to more affordable credit for Nigerians. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President, Laolu Akonde, announced that the bills, which have now become acts, are the Secured Transactions in Movable Assets Act 2017, otherwise known as Collateral Registry Act, and the Credit Reporting Act 2017. With the passage of these acts, the existing Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN guideline regulating the operations of the National Collateral Registry and Credit Bureau have now been replaced by formal legal frameworks. These acts are expected to facilitate the achievement of the goals of the Presidential Business Environment Council, PEBEC, established by President Muhammadu Buhari in July 2016 and chaired by the acting president to progressively make Nigeria an easier place for business to thrive. Departure from the current cooperative federalism of several decades to the fiscal federalism that will address the challenges of the regional inequalities and ensure a balancing of equity and efficiency is a gradual constitutional process and not a product of agitation as is currently the case. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, stated this in Abuja while declaring open a one-day think tank conference organized by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. Abdul Fattah Dediron has details.
The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, says reforms and modifications of institutional arrangements, systems and processes are normal in federalisms, but are not done in one single swoop as has been advocated in Nigeria.
Restructuring requires amending the constitution to accommodate referendum, or in the alternative, a constitutional amendment to the 1999 constitution, which in this case must be supported by majority of legislators in 24 states of the Federation.
Chairman of the occasion and former Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru Jos, Professor Akin Akindoemi, says Nigeria has all the ingredients for dynamic development towards global leadership, but lacks political will, sincerity of purpose, and continuity in governance.
For over 60 years, we have been saying to ourselves we're a federal republic. But we have been practicing different ilks of federalism.
Apart from a few elites, nobody is comfortable in the current arrangement.
The one-day think tank conference was put together by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies with the aim of developing a national strategy for effective response to the current challenges of federalism in Nigeria. Abdul Fattah Adediran, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force has continued to intensify clearance operations in the northeast geopolitical zone. The Air Force component of Operation Lafia Dole has conducted an intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance mission in Parisu, Borno State. During the mission, a large structure with solar panels and flags suspected to harbor high-value Boko Haram terrorists were discovered, alongside other similar structures hidden under some vegetation. Subsequent battle damage assessment revealed that several structures in the target area were engulfed in fire as a result of the strikes, and a few Boko Haram terrorist survivors were seen scampering from the location. Director of Public Relations and Information Air Commodore Olatokunbo Adesonya also announced that the Nigerian Air Force helicopter gunships have destroyed hidden barges with stolen oil products in several creeks within the Niger Delta under the framework of Operation Delta Safe. The destruction of the barges is aimed at making stealing of the nation's oil products futile, dangerous, and unattractive. The Federal Ministry of Defense has commenced the process of a review and amendment of the Armed Forces Act 2004. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Minister of Defense, Mansour Dan Ali, flagged off the procedure in Abuja through a constitutional committee.
The Armed Forces Act 2004 is the existing legal framework that guides and regulates the conduct and activities of the Nigerian military.
While the laws from which the Armed Forces of Nigeria copied her own laws has undergone several reviews reflective of the ever-changing status of the world, ours has remained stagnant, regardless of the dynamics of the change in society.
Some of the areas of the law to be addressed: by the proposed amendment include command influence in the composition and administration of military justice system, conformity with Convention of the International Labour Organization, ILO.
I urge you to consider amendment to the Armed Forces Act that will accord statutory entitlements to members of the Armed Forces of Nigeria that are killed or wounded in action.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army has inaugurated an information call center to increase interface between security agencies and the public.
We will monitor and go along with the civil police to such a point that will be required.
Accessible from all the GSM network service providers, the center is with the short code 193.
Information through call center is an important area of e-governance.
This, the Army noted, will provide real-time information for proactive security operations nationwide. From the Nigerian Army headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Nigerian police force has arraigned a suspected fake whistleblower before a magistrate court in Abuja for allegedly passing false information to the police that led to the raiding of house number 10, Genji Street, Maitama. Ali Tukur reports that the defendant pleaded not guilty to the two-count charge.
Out of the two suspects charged with criminal conspiracy and giving false information, Maiwada Adamu is at large, while Ahmed Ochodo pleaded not guilty before the magistrate. It is alleged that on the 26th of this month, the two accused persons informed the Office of the Inspector General of Police that a house at Maitama is being maintained and used for criminal activities, including keeping of arms and ammunition. However, after a police search, no incriminating items were found, an act contrary to Section 97 subsection 1 and 140 of the Penal Code. On pleading not guilty, the prosecution counsel urged the magistrate to grant them time to prepare their case against the defendant. The defense counsel filed for bail application, which was objected by the prosecution counsel on grounds that the crime is not bailable. The chief magistrate Umar Kagarko adjourned the case to the 5th of next month for ruling on the bail application, and also ordered the police to produce the second accused person while he remanded the other accused at Kefi prison. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Wife of the President, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, Tuesday morning left Abuja for London, the United Kingdom. While in the UK, Mrs. Buhari is expected to visit her husband, President Muhammad Buhari, who is on medical vacation. State House correspondent Ali Kabir reports that the wife of the president expressed appreciation to Nigerians for their support and prayers for President Buhari, who is resting according to his doctor's orders. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, Chibok schoolgirls enter second phase of rehabilitation and an update on the sit-at-home order by the indigenous peoples of Biafra, IPOD. Details after this message.
I've waited so long for this game. There's a problem with this camera. What's happening? No. Guys, do this thing now. We are not missing the match. You ain't going. Hello, hey. Nice. On a try. Oh. Hold on, guys. Glow can actually borrow me data. So let's get back to watching it. I told you.
Borrow me data from Glow. Dial *321#, even if your account balance is 0.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Rise up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
There's no limit to what you can do with data. With Nigeria's widest data network, it's amazing what you can make happen on MTN.
This is my message to you.
إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين.
The management of the Nigeria Television Authority (NTA), Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria (FRCN), and Voice of Nigeria (VON) cordially invites the Muslim Ummah and the general public to the 12th annual Ramadan lecture, which will inshallah take place on Saturday, 3rd June 2017 at Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Road, off Jabi Road East, off Sultan Road, Ngwarimi Jare, Kaduna, by 9 a.m. Topic of discuss: ongoing charity in Islam, to be delivered by Sheikh Dr. Isa Ali Pantami, Director General NIDA. Chief host, His Excellency Malan Nasir Ahmad Erufai, Executive Governor, Kaduna State. The Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, will be the special guest of honor, and His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Shehu Usman Musa III, Emir of Kefi, will be the chairman of the occasion. Host, Malam Yakubu Ibu Muhammad, the Director General NTA, Malam Mansur Liman, Director General FRCN, and Dr. Osita Kechuku, Director General VON. You are welcome. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Have you seen the new Opera Mini?
Browse faster. Get the latest news. Download videos and extend your data so you can browse all day.
Upgrade to Opera Mini.
Download now for free.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. Minister of Women Affairs Aisha Jumwe Al-Hassan formally takes delivery of the 82 abducted Chibok schoolgirls, whom the federal government secured their release recently. The handing over of the girls signals another phase in their rehabilitation process. Anthony Fosun reports.
The 82 girls were brought to the Ministry of Women Affairs for the continuation of their rehabilitation, having completed documentation with the Department of State Security. Representative of the acting president, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, restated the seriousness the federal government attaches to the welfare of the girls.
There is nobody here who is a parent who cannot understand the kind of joy that one feels that we have gotten to this level. I'd like to paraphrase what His Excellency has said previously. We will do what is necessary in order to get you to where you need to be.
For the Minister of Women Affairs, she was categorical on what the girls will undergo while in her custody.
They are not only medically stable, they are psychologically stable also. And the therapy will go on for the next 4 months, which is to September 2017, when we will have enrolled them in schools within Nigeria.
I would say to you, Mother, they are all stable and we're comfortable to release them to you today.
UNFPA is very, very glad to be part of the stakeholders receiving this girl today.
It is a new chapter in your life, a chapter of hope and happiness, of joy.
The 82 Chibok school girls regained their freedom from Boko Haram captivity about 3 weeks ago, following negotiations with the federal government. In Abuja, Anthony Fossen, NTA News.
Security agencies rose to the occasion in the 5 states of the southeast to ensure that citizens' rights and freedom of movement were not infringed upon following the call by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOD, for a stay-at-home protest. Mansour Damian Dati has the situation report as filed by our correspondents in the southeast.
Seen by residents of the affected states as breach of the bail conditions granted the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, and for fear of the unknown, some residents of Enugu stayed at home. Chinyere Nwoye reports from Enugu that security agencies allayed the fears of residents through patrols and surveillance of magistrates to ensure non-violation of law and order by individuals and group of persons who issued the sit-at-home order. In Abakaliki, human and vehicular movements improved as the day gone by, following assurances by the state government and security agencies. Eneka Oko reports that markets, banks, offices and other institutions were opened for business. Dora Enwe reports from Onitsha that commercial activities and social engagements were crippled. Residents stayed indoors for fear of miscreants who might take advantage of the situation. The situation was the same in Owerri, where Chuma Nwankwere says only few who had courage came out for their businesses. The situation was calm, quiet and peaceful. Atmosphere was also peaceful in Oka, as reported by Ekene Ndule. Economic and social activities were low.
Time now for us to link up with our Lagos Network Center, where Jennifer Igwe is standing by. She has more on NTA Network News. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Kudu. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ibas, says the Nigerian Navy is more equipped to deliver in its task of protecting the nation's territorial waters. Vice Admiral Ibas, who was represented by the flag officer commanding the Western Naval Command, stated this when he addressed civilians on board 2 ships on sea trip in Lagos. Kelly Beluge completes the story.
The sea trip by the Nigerian Navy with civilians on board is part of activities to celebrate the 61st anniversary of the Nigerian Navy. The Chief of the Naval Staff, who was represented by the flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, explained that the idea of the sea trip was for the public to feel what the Nigerian Navy personnel go through when protecting the territorial integrity of the country, especially its exclusive economic zone. It was also to demonstrate the operational capabilities of the Nigerian Navy.
This vessel we are standing on is equipped with very, very modern equipment, very modern navigational equipment. The fighting capability is very, very modern. So I want to believe that we are trying and we have almost caught up with the best practices in the maritime industry.
Some of the civilians spoke on the relevance on the sea trip.
The awareness of what they do is even more amongst the people because of this type of program that they are doing. Although it's my own first time of coming on board.
I realized that this thing, choppers, can actually come and descend into a ship. Before I didn't know these ships could actually house choppers.
Having civilians on board naval ships is a regular feature exercise by the Nigerian Navy. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
The United States government has commended the federal government of Nigeria for its steadfastness in degrading the Boko Haram insurgents. Regional Security Officer of the United States Embassy in Nigeria, Scotty Blansett, gave the commendation at the closing of the explosive training course, which was organized by the United States government for some officers of the anti-bomb unit of the Nigerian Police Force. Doyin Dia has details.
Day of rigorous exercise for participants of the U.S. Facilitated Explosive Ordnance Disposal Mentorship Training. The course, which had an overview of recent threats in Nigeria and the African continent, equipped participants with the requisite skills in bomb threat assessment, post-blast investigation, and bomb squad response equipment maintenance. Representative of the Consul General of the United States of America, Scotty Blansett, expressed optimism that the partnership will further boost tactical operation in the theater of war and as well galvanize the existing relationship between the two countries.
Training will save lives and hopefully promote even more goodwill in the future between the United States and Nigeria.
So that we can, first of all, protect the citizens that are returning to their communities to carry on with their daily activities, ensure their safety, and ensure the safety of all, including their properties.
Other senior officers of the Nigerian Police Force and the training facilitator emphasized the need for collective participation in the fight against terrorists and other criminal elements. High point of the ceremony was the presentation of certificates to participants in Lagos. Doyin Dia, NT News.
You're still watching NT Network News. We have more reports ahead on the news from Abuja with Kudu. After these messages, stay tuned.
Kings of African comedy gather under one roof.
There is only one outcome. Then we bring down the roof.
Come witness the craziest
and the funniest, the oh my God, and the baddest of them all.
Laughter will scatter your brain well.
Come watch the biggest names in African comedy at Glow Laughter Fest. Basketmouth, Bovi, I Go Die, Sheyi Law, Gordons, Salvador, Osama, Bash, Kenny Black, and many more.
You will never have a bigger gathering of jaw-dropping, hip-cracking comedians under one roof.
One microphone, one net, all over Nigeria. Yeah, I'm going to be there.
I am going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Live and direct.
For the time of your life.
Will you?
To win a free ticket, use 2,000 Naira in a month and text LOL and your preferred location to 240.
Oh, Laughter Fest. Laugh go kill you, die.
True.
Glow Unlimited.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Cadbury Bournvita now comes in an attractive new 500-gram refill pack. Simply open and reseal after use to retain the chocolatey and creamy taste. Cadbury Bournvita. Prepare to win.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gionee A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Cadbury Bournvita now comes in an attractive new 500-gram refill pack. Simply open and reseal after use to retain the chocolatey and creamy taste. Cadbury Bournvita. Prepare to win.
You're still on to the NTA Network News. Federal government reaffirms determination to attain self-sufficiency in sugar production as analysts commend ongoing economic reforms. This and more with Vivian Idekbefo on Business News.
It's good to have you join us on the Business News at this time. 2 years of the current administration and public analysts say the economic policies and programs of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government are yielding results, considering that the economy is on its way to full recovery.
I know some young friends of mine who are beneficiaries of the Empower scheme. They are very happy, they are excited, they've had a lot of good words for the government. I understand that there is also a second phase of it now, which a lot of young people are scrambling to get in. The school feeding programs, I also understand that people are really happy with it.
The federal government has reaffirmed its determination to ensure self-sufficiency in sugar production. This will be attained through vigorous pursuit of the implementation of the Sugar Master Plan, which focuses on exporting into the $97 billion sugar market. Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Aisha Abubakar, says government is willing to support investors in this regard, particularly as sugar forms part of the 2017 budget for generating foreign exchange and job creation. Meanwhile, Nigerian banks have contributed 931 billion naira to the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria's sinking fund since inception. AMCON, in a statement, said it recovered 134 billion naira in 2016. Assets for future amounted to 30.4 billion naira, while property sale yielded 8 billion naira in the period under review. And now to the capital market, where the Nigerian Stock Exchange kicked off trading on a positive note. The all-share index appreciated by 0.73% to close at 26,276.59 basis points. Here is a summary of the trading figures. That's Business News at this time. I'm Vivian Idekbefo. Thanks for being there.
The Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore, a Fulani social cultural association, has called for the abolishment of the anti-open grazing law enacted by the Benue State government. The National Secretary of the association, Saleh Al-Hassan, in a media briefing in Abuja, described the law as an attempt to criminalize the pastoralist means of economic livelihood through cattle breeding. Ali Tukur has details.
The spate of clashes between herdsmen and farmers in some parts of the country has posed serious security challenge. To overcome this, the federal government has put some measures. These include re-establishment of the long-age grazing reserves and the establishment of agro-rangers to ensure that herdsmen did not go into farmlands. However, Benue State government on its part has enacted the anti-open grazing law. The law bans open grazing in the state, making rearing of cattle only by ranching, which the state government says it will support. This seems not to go down well with Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore, which views the ranching as expensive and the law as a means of going against its economic interest and constitutional rights.
Pastoralists, like all citizens of Nigeria, have a right to move freely, to reside in any part of the country. They also have a right to own property in any part of the country, and they enjoy the right of freedom from discrimination like any other citizen of Nigeria.
The association says it is always ready to partner with relevant authorities to address the issue of farmer-herdsmen clashes and fish out criminals, particularly those masquerading as Fulani herdsmen. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
The Nasarawa State government has held an interactive forum with all critical stakeholders in the state on how to ensure sustainable development as Nigeria deepens its democracy. Joshua Ajito reports that issues addressed centered on how to tackle unemployment, sustainable development for rural communities, and entrenchment of peaceful coexistence in the state.
This is the first time the Almakura's administration in Nasarawa State convened stakeholders interactive forum with all former and present political appointees in the last 6 years of his administration. The forum is to take stock of the journey so far in the last 6 years, with successes recorded in all sectors, and chart a way forward for sustainable development in the state. Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura attributed successes recorded in infrastructure development in both urban and rural areas to the adversary role of all political office holders in the last 6 years of his administration.
We are working in synergy with National Inland Waterways Authority to ensure some of the major riverine areas also benefit from transportation infrastructure as it relates to water transportation.
On Democracy Day celebration, Governor Almakura said it beholds on leaders at all levels to ensure dividends of democracy reach the doorstep of the electorates, while assuring that his administration will lift Nasarawa State better than he met it. He called on other politicians and stakeholders in the state to join hands with government for the overall development of the state. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Sokoto State is where we go next. Zainab Abdul Nasser. Okay, we will not be going to Sokoto immediately. We will first of all go for a commercial break. Don't go away.
Organized, trained, and fully equipped. We are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC as an agency is indeed doing so much to protect the health of our nation. I urge everyone to support NAFDAC in ridding the country of fake drugs and unwholesome products.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Security forces in Sokoto State are reported to be bearing their fangs. Here is Zainab Abdul Nasser, who is now ready to tell us more about that. Hello, Zainab.
Mohammed, and welcome to Sokoto. A combined team of security personnel have continued to carry out a joint patrol aimed at guaranteeing security of lives and property in Sokoto State. Sheikh Mohammed Detti reports that the combined team of the security stormed major streets of the metropolis in what they termed show of force.
Behind me is a combined team of security personnel that comprises Army, Police, DSS, Mobile Police, and Road Safety Corps under the leadership of State Commissioner of Police Muhammad Abdul Qadir. According to the Commissioner of Police, the combination is to show the public that synergy still exists among security personnel in Sokoto. The show of force is the second of its kind in the week, with a view to ensuring safety of lives and property in the state. He said it is a normal routine of the security, calling on people of Sokoto State not to panic and continue with their normal businesses.
So just to assure people that we are synergizing, and we want to assure them that the peace, law and order is maintained.
The combined rally covered major streets that include Garba Duba Road, Alai Kilo Road, Sultan Abubakar Road, Sultan Atiku Road, and Shehu Shagari Road, among others. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Deti, NTA News.
Residents of Sokoto have appealed to the state government to hasten the completion of all water projects in order to guarantee steady water supply in the state. In this report, Aminu Bello Kaoje takes a look at the water situation in Sokoto.
The water consumption need in Sokoto is over 100 million gallons per day, but the State Water Board is only able to pump out less than half of the requirements. In addition, as at present, only 2 out of the 4 water board reservoirs are working, while many of the boreholes in different areas of Sokoto metropolis are also faulty. Perhaps that is why water vendors have become common sights in some areas, and they are selling water to the residents of the affected areas at exorbitant price. The areas worst hit by the water problem in Sokoto metropolis include Ringin Sambo, Gidan Igwe, Gidan Kuka, and Jerepshe, among others.
If we want to use water, we used to go and struggle for those that are selling water. And I would like government to intervene.
I pray for God for the government making help us do water.
State Commissioner for Water Resources Muhammad Arzika Tureta had this to say on the effort by the government to provide good drinking water to the populace.
Sokoto state government is doing a lot, providing potable drinking water.
However, residents of areas such as Gidada, Balza, and Tashar Ilela are happy as they are enjoying steady water supply from the Sokoto State Water Board. In Sokoto, Amin Velekaoji, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Muhammad.
Thank you, Zainab. And Chimaduma Ndubisi has the global tidbits for us.
Stating drought last year, South Africa is to experience relief as it's set to harvest its biggest maize crop. Government figures show that farmers are expected to produce 15 million tons of maize that will amount to 50% surplus for the year, resulting in reduced food prices. The expected bumper harvest is attributed to proper rain distribution in January and February this year. And from United Nations Human Rights Office comes a report that there has been violation of human rights on a massive scale in the Central African Republic by government troops, armed groups, and international defense forces. The document reveals that there are 620 cases of gang rapes, severe torture, resulting in deaths, and reprisal attacks attributed to political instability, corruption, and nepotism. In the science world, a life-saving antibiotic that will attack bacteria in 3 different ways has been created. The no antibiotic will boost treatment of infections that are resistant to antibiotics, which is